There's been a lot of talk about a potential coronavirus vaccine, but health professionals here in Alabama say don't get too excited just yet. Pfizer announced earlier this week their lead vaccine candidate had a 90% success rate in a trial with over 40,000 participants. UAB doctors say we need to stay vigilant.
Even if we find out in, say, 3 to 4 weeks that the Pfizer vaccine continues to look good, they continue to analyze the data, and most importantly, or equally importantly, they continue to show there's safety in the months after getting the vaccine, how many people do you think they are geared up to immunize by the end of the year? It turns out it's only going to be 10 to 15 million people globally. So that is a tiny drop in the bucket.
Dr. Marazzo says we should think of the vaccine as a hopeful development, but it should not change anyone's behavior. Keep protecting yourself and others.